All right, guys, here we go. Thanks for tuning in. I know some of you guys on previous videos said you preferred that I do the online PSA reveals, and some of you preferred that I wait till the cards come in. So this time around, knowing that ahead of time, I'm actually planning on recording both videos. So obviously, I can record the online reveal before I can record the actual in hand cards video. So, if you prefer to wait until I record that video to see what grades came back as, I will not be offended if you stop watching here. Um, but again, I plan on doing both. So, if you want to watch now and then watch again to the next one, that's great too. So, as you can see here, we've got the PSA website pulled up. I did ship these out, and PSA received the package on March 6th of this year. I got them shipped back to me exactly 3 months later on June 6th. So they're saying by the end of this week, by Friday, I should be getting that package back in the mail. So without further ado, let's get into the reveal. So the first card is going to be a 1966 Topps Cubs team card. When I sent it out, I predicted it was going to be an 8 or a 9. PSA came back and gave it an 8. So really happy with how that card came back. Uh, Looks great. Pretty good centering on the front, okay centering on the back, but not perfect. Regardless, I am happy with that grade coming back as it did. Next, we have a 1963 Topps Dodgers team card. This one came back as a 5. I had predicted a 7 or an 8. I don't know why I predicted a 7 or 8 because looking at the images, it's quite obvious that it shouldn't have been a 7 or an 8. A 6, maybe? I could see it being a 6. It's decently centered, and honestly, it's in as good a condition as other 63s that I have that are all graded 6s. So disappointing a little bit, but that's okay. Next card is going to be another Dodgers team card in 1968. I predicted the 68 was going to be a 7 or an 8, and it came back a 4. Obviously, there's some sort of creasing or something somewhere that I did not see. This card is nicely centered. I would never have sent this card in if I thought it was going to come back a 4. Again, I thought it was going to be a 7 or an 8. Have no clue what's going on there. We'll take a closer look at that one when it comes back in, because even on this image, it does not look like a 4. So curious to see what they were seeing when I get it back. Next is a 74 Topps Dodgers team card. I predicted it was going to be a 7 or an 8, and it actually came back as min size required, so there's not going to be an image for me to show you guys. And then the last Dodgers team card is a 78 team card. I predicted it was going to be an 8 or a 9, and it came back as an 8. These team cards were just so sharp. I thought some of them honestly had an outside chance at being a 10. This was one of them. The centering is pretty nice. I conservatively predicted 8 or 9, but I did think it had an outside chance at a 10. But, anyways, moving on, we've got a 1954 Red Heart Carl Erskine. I thought it was going to be a 6 or a 7. It was really nice and clean looking when I sent it out. PSA gave it a 3. So, again, I mean, I know on the top left there's a little bit of maybe scuffing, scratching. I don't remember exactly how bad it was, but I don't think it was bad enough to be a 3. Um, I could see it being a 4 or 5, but a 3, man, they hammered me on that one. That is all right, though. We will move on. Still happy with that. I did get that for a good price, so even as a 3, it'll be fine. Next, we got a 75 Tops Catfish Hunter. I picked this one up at Greg Morris Cards, and they pre-graded it a near mint, mint or better, so they thought it was going to be an 8 or better. I predicted it was going to come back as an 8 or a 9. PSA gave it a 5. And looking at it now in the holder, you can see it is not cut squarely. So I'm guessing that is going to be one of the main reasons why. That card was really clean and looked left to right. Centering is spot on. Top to bottom's not great, but between the top to bottom centering and the off-centered cut, that one got hammered. This was a little bit early on in my grading. This is only the third order that I had sent out for grading. I think I'm a little bit better now at pre-grading and deciding what to send in. So hopefully future grades come back better. Next card was a 68 Topps Steve Carlton. I actually bought that card already graded as a 6, and I noticed that there was some wax on it. So I bought it as a 6, cleaned the wax off, sent it back in. Again, it was a 6 before I sent it in. Cleaned off the wax, and we got an 8. So happy with that one. Steve Carlton coming back as an 8. Really clean card. Honestly, it was so nice and so nicely centered. When I sent it out, I thought there was a really good chance that it was maybe even going to do better than an 8, but I knew it was a 6 beforehand. So I'm happy with the 8. Next, we have a 59 Topps Jim Gilliam. This was before I bought another Gilliam that you guys would have seen in a previous video. This was the sharpest, nicest looking image quality on a 59 that I'd seen. I was really pumped about it. I thought it was going to get a 7 or an 8 with an outside chance at a 9, and it came back as a 7. Obviously, it's got the rough cut along the right edge, but man, that is the sharpest image card and decently centered. I think I think I think I'm I think it should have been an 8 because I know with these vintage cards they usually don't deduct you for that rough cut edge. Obviously, a 7 is still good, but I think it should have been an 8. Anyways, going on. 1955 Bowman this time, Jim Gilliam. This one was really nice. I thought it was going to be a 5 or a 6 when I sent it in, and it came back a 4. Um, Pretty nicely centered. Corners are pretty good. I still think it should have probably been at least a 5 or a 6. We'll look at it closer when it gets back, but came back a 4. Next, we got a 61 Topps Yogi Berra. I thought it was going to be a 5 or a 6 when I sent it out. PSA disagreed and they gave me a 3. So again, I'm going to have to look closer at that one when it comes back. Not sure why that one only got a 3 because I don't remember seeing any wrinkles or creases on it before I sent it out. So that one is a disappointment for sure. Next, we got a 59 Hitters Foes card. Sending it out, I thought it was going to be a 6 or a 7. PSA agreed, and they gave it a 6. This was one where I said 6 or 7 conservatively, but I was really thinking it was going to land as a 7, but it did come back as a 6. Still a nice looking card. Happy with how that card looks. Obviously, wish it would have been a 7, but we are with a 6. Next, we've got a 67 tops Billy Williams. I predicted it was going to be a 6 or a 7 when I sent it out. PSA gave it a 7. Really sharp, nice, clean card. Happy with that grade, obviously. So, moving on, we've got a 68 tops 1967 home run leaders. I thought this one was going to be a 5 or a 6. It was in pretty good condition, but not perfect. And PSA gave it a 3. So, again, going to have to look closer at that one and figure out what's going on there. But I, looking at that, it looks better than a 3 to me. So, we'll see what it is when it comes back. Next, we got a 69 tops Ernie Banks. I thought this was going to be a 5 or a 6, if you'll remember. It is a very, very sharp edge and sharp corner card. However, it did have a slight bend in the top right corner. So I thought it was going to be a 5 or a 6. PSA agreed, and they gave it a 5. One of the nicest, cleanest looking 5s you will ever see. Uh, Decently centered for a 5 for sure, and very sharp corners and edges. Obviously, the little bend on the top right is what did it in. But again, I predicted a 5 or 6, and it came back a 5. Next, we have a NL pitching leaders, 1966 pitching leaders from 67 tops. I thought it was going to be a 6 or a 7 when I sent it out. PSA gave it a 6. This card is really cool. It's got 4 Hall of Famers: Sandy Koufax, Juan Marichal, Bob Gibson, and Gaylord Perry. This is going to be one of the few cards in this PSA order that is going to my PC and not going to be sold. Next, we have a 1969 Roberto Clemente. I thought this was going to be a 4 or a 5 when I sent it out, and it came back as a 4. Honestly, I was leaning more towards it being a 5, so a little bit disappointed that it came back a 4, but either way, we're still correct on what we thought the grade would be in the range. Next, we got a 66 top Sandy Koufax. I guess this was also going to be a 4 or a 5, and PSA gave it a 4. Super, super sharp card. Not very well centered, obviously, but with how sharp it is, I was hoping it might get a 5 because I thought it was going to be the quality of a 7 potentially, but with how off centered it is, who knows? Maybe they knocked it down 3 grades. I don't know. Usually I've heard that they knock it down about 2 grades if they don't give it a qualifier, so that would mean they think it was a 6 before the miscut off centeredness. So next we have a 59 tops Willie Mays. I thought this was going to be a 6 or a 7. Really nice condition card when I was looking at it. PSA did not agree. They gave it a 4. Um, Top to bottom centering might be why. I'm not sure. I still think it was a really sharp card when I sent it in. So we'll take a closer look at that one when it comes back. It might just be the top to bottom centering. Who knows? But still a very sharp, nice card. That'll be a PC card. I've been saving all my Willie Mays cards and not selling those, at least for now. We'll see if my tastes change in the future, but that will be a PC card. And last but not least, we've got a 68 tops Harmon Killebrew. I thought it was going to be a 6 or a 7, and PSA disagreed again. They gave it a 5. Again, I'm guessing the top to bottom centering had something to do with that because it was a pretty nice looking card. Again, I thought it was going to be a 6 or a 7, even with the centering issues. So we shall see what the next order comes back as. I think I think the next order is where I started to kind of get a feel for what PSA was looking for and how they're grading. So I'm hoping the next one is my most accurate one yet. Overall, a little disappointing. This is my by far my most disappointing PSA order that has come back. But you live and you learn. After I sent these in, I kind of realized I probably shouldn't have sent some of them in, so it's okay. We'll still be okay based on the ones that came back as good grades and the fact that I made good buys on on as far as the price that I paid goes. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favorite card is in this set. Again, I will be recording this video again once the cards are in hand so we can look a little bit closer and see what the issues are. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please thumbs up, please subscribe, and until next time, stay safe and God bless.